I was gonna not record this. I was thinking, let's just let this pass and never tell anyone. I don't know. I got my laptop open. I don't know if people can see me through that. I don't know how to, because I know that on school laptops they can like watch things in some sort of way. I don't know how it works if they can see your screen at all times or only during school days. And I don't know if the camera means anything or not. I have no idea. I got really overwhelmed this morning. But so I was talking to some people about, you know, the usual stuff. I was telling them about like these two friends about my psychosis, how I think bipolar, stuff with my shrink from the past, all that stuff. And then I also told them about that thing I talked about last video, the kid I kept like hitting and bullying when I was in 8th grade. It didn't feel good, even describing that stuff. And for the past few days, I felt really, like, kind of sick. I don't know what happened. Like, it was on Thursday, my stomach was just not right, and afterwards, by the end of that day, or maybe the day after, I don't remember, I felt like I legitimately must have had, like, food poisoning or something. I don't know what caused it. And it never went away. And since then, I haven't felt hungry at all. I always feel like I'm on the brink of being full and I really shouldn't eat, so I really don't want to. In fact, on that day, I didn't even eat dinner. I didn't want to at all, and I felt too sick to even go through the effort anyway, so I just really wanted to sleep. But I've also, like, a bit stressed, and, like, I was dissociating a bit. My theater teacher did not change his opinion about wanting me in Drama 4, so that's good. He told a few Drama 4 kids about it too, that I'm gonna get into it next year. In fact, he was supposed to put me in it this semester. He just couldn't fit me in the casting. There's just so much noise out there now. So that's. He told them, because we were all brought backstage during like the middle of flex, so that we could read a script that he had just finished. And like the day before, he started writing it, so I'd read that script as it was in the process of being finished 3 times, and I got the same character every time. So I think he really wants me to play that character. He says he's gonna put that script as a competition piece next year, so I'm probably getting casted as that. That's nice. But yeah, I was really. I just wasn't fully here yesterday, Saturday. I was like mostly not saying anything for like most of that entire day to like my family. I just didn't want to be anywhere or deal with anything. I don't even know how to describe it. Nothing happened that day. So this morning I got really overwhelmed. It's only 11 o'clock. I haven't been awake that long. I got out of bed at like 8 o'clock. And I was already so very overwhelmed because I started to think about my psychosis again. And I got really worried that it might turn into full-blown schizophrenia in the future when I'm older. And got really worried about that. And I saw something that someone was saying who also dealt with psychosis when they were younger and now has schizophrenia and is still very young. And I heard them talk a bit more about it. They got it when they were 15 and they got schizophrenia very soon. I'm 15 and this is when I got psychosis. That doesn't sound very promising. So I did more research about it, and it's still up in the air. I don't know if I will or won't get schizophrenia in the future. I have no idea. But I was reading these websites, these articles about psychosis, and I was looking at the cycles of psychosis so that I could see how it evolves throughout someone's life. They all end with recovery, specifically through medication. I don't have that. They say take it as soon as you can, as soon as you know. My shrink wouldn't let me. Meaning, it's not getting better. It's not going to get better because of that. My chin looks weird in this. So, I was struggling with that for a bit, and I wasn't enjoying all this. And once again, all of these articles say what I've already known and really just strengthen that idea that no, what? Oh, I didn't hear the stairs. I don't know if they're still. No, that was my mother at the door. Yeah, it was just strengthening what I already knew, that psychosis can be caused by bipolar disorder, depression, some kind of mood disorder, substance use. I already knew about all that. Once again, oh yeah, also drama. That was another thing they listed. So I still have no idea why exactly I have it. It could be all of it. Because it wasn't until around the time I was getting psychosis I was starting to I'm sorry, I'm really I'll check. It really wasn't until I started getting psychosis that I was actually coming to terms with my trauma and acknowledging it. I really think about that stuff, because before that, I was just kind of blocking it out. So that could possibly be what caused it, but also it could possibly be the prescription abuse. That's a pretty likely reason, I think. But it could also be because of bipolar disorder, because that happens a lot, and I genuinely think I have that. There's no way I can be convinced of otherwise. And I was thinking, what if my brain just doesn't know how to deal with stress after I took some time resisting that sort of disorder, not yelling at people, not hitting people, dealing with my anger issues. Now it doesn't know how to deal with frustration, and it got really stressed and just started making shit up, and I gained psychosis from it. What if that's what happened? Because it's somewhere around that time. I dealt with that after 8th grade ended, and then towards the end of 9th grade I started getting psychosis, so. And all the things can happen through psychosis, all the two first stages was before psychosis really develops, and then once it finally does start, then it's the recovery stages after that. And all the things for before it starts, actually did go through. Not like every single one of those things, but now I haven't. I don't actively go through every single one of those anymore, but I did directly before it started. And then it describes like a lot of things that can happen when you have psychosis, and I do also have like a lot of that. Like I screenshotted these, so these are in like my. Hold on. Where's the there's difficulty screening out distractions, distracting information sensation. Difficulty focusing or understanding what they are hearing. Always get that. Changes in perceptual experiences, visual experience. They become brighter or sounds loud. Feeling overloaded. Finding it harder to keep track of what they are thinking, what others are saying. Feeling disconnected. I feel like a lot of these things were just like normal things that I overlooked. It just happens, either just as a person or maybe just from like a normal thing like ADHD or something. Something that like you just live with. There's like feeling disconnected, desire or need to be alone. That wasn't happening until like a bit like when a lot of bad stuff was happening right before psychosis, and even through a bit of psychosis. That was just like stress in general that made that happen. And then, explain difficulty at school. Yeah, that happened a lot. Suspiciousness, absolutely. Irritability, that was just like on the medication. That's just what happened from that person. Like, it's like, and then phase where stuff happens, or like the symptoms, hallucinations fairly often, delusions somewhat often. Like hallucinations is when I would see things when I was like really stressed out. Like I would see people or some sort of exaggerated being that doesn't make sense in the world. It's just being there, something. And then like delusions, a lot of stuff. Like every once in a while, getting that weird psychotic episode that I think everyone I've ever met and will ever meet is an actor, and everything's fake. I'm just being observed at all times. It's like an experiment or entertainment, and I don't know why, or like, and I couldn't possibly conceptualize what the real world outside of this is supposed to be. That happens every once in a while. Not as much as hallucinations. Nowhere near. Very odd or disorganized speech. One occasion. I remember I was incredibly stressed out. Like, probably the worst I had felt possible without thinking the entire world was fake. Just nothing was right at all. I think I might have made a video about this, maybe. And I remember I took a shower and I was so anxious. Like the most anxious I had ever been in my entire life. In there, when I was just in there to like calm myself down from everything that was happening, and I had to cut it off short and get out. And then suddenly I couldn't speak. I was speaking very slowly and shakily, making very short sentences, and that's all I could get. And some words I genuinely couldn't get. Like, I knew what I wanted to say in my head, but my head couldn't find what that word was, so I couldn't even talk to myself. I tried recording it, but the audio got fucking corrupted. I couldn't find the words I was trying to say. I couldn't speak properly, and sometimes words would randomly get replaced for no reason. Very ominous words. Most of the time I replaced something with voice for some reason. I don't know why. I think maybe heart as well, but occasionally it was just like a random word that I just mixed it up with that's not even similar, and I don't know where it came from. So weird. I hated that. The more I spoke, the better it was getting. So I kept trying to speak, and I was a bit nervous because I also had like a full line test the day after a play I was very stressed out about, and told one of my friends recently that it stressed me out. So, luckily, it didn't last past that, like, maybe half hour. Probably until I fell asleep. I don't know how long that is. So yeah, I pretty much had to explain to one of my friends a few days ago. You know that friend, if you paid attention to these videos. And it's like about how like I felt like someone like vexed me or something. I had the worst karma possible that day. And I was really stressed that day as well, like a few days ago. When was this? The 14th. That is a crazy day for that to be on. But that's like a week ago. Kind of 2 weeks ago. And then it's talked about like what exactly it was. And I was pretty much talking about like I also told another friend just like an hour or so before that about everything. Like I was considering quitting at junior year. Yeah, I made a video about this. I had to explain to this friend how like everything about theater had been stressful ever since I first ever auditioned. I felt like I didn't do good on the line test that day. No, days before this thing was happening. It's like that day my mother didn't get any work that week at all, so she didn't get paid at all for that week, and we had a lot of bills the very next week, all due by Friday. So it was gonna be very difficult to pay off and get all the groceries we needed, since like that was on the day we always go grocery shopping each week. And through every rehearsal for this new play of that line test I was just talking about, that like felt like I didn't do good on, it so bad every single time for me. Like, yeah, every single rehearsal, even outside of this play, has been like, was like terrible. Ever since like the very first one, I had to like, as a freshman, I had to pick up a senior actor, and I've never picked someone up before, so that was really difficult as a freshman. And everyone was just telling me, both my mom and my friends, saying like, oh, I'm a man, I should be able to do that stuff. Who says that stuff? And that really hurt, because like I really don't like being a man. I want to still not be weak. I want to be able to pick heavy things up. I'm fine with picking a person up, but when that comment turns to you're a man, you should be able to do that stuff, that really hurts. My hair looks crazy in this lighting. Wispy. It's like cotton candy around here. It's like, this is the actual physical stuff. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, an experienced freshman as well, having to pick up a senior. And then the 10-minute play that was after that, I had to play a character I didn't understand, who got characterized differently every single day, up to a few minutes before I got on stage. It got characterized differently, and then I had to scrap that one and go just back to the original one. I did terribly. I hated that. And then the Christmas show, last semester, mentally, emotionally, and physically draining, because I was getting so many complaints from every actor and the teacher constantly, and no one else got anything. Plus, I was with people that everyone loved in each scene who were also giving me complaints. No one complained about them because people love them, and plus, one of them already has professional acting experience, has an agent, getting like commercials and shit, and doing a bunch of acting classes like professionally, and another one was in the musical that like was in a big musical that went for like performed for the fucking city, and is now in drama 4 after 1 semester. Plus, physically draining, having to pick up one of those actors, that friend, after like 20 minutes complaining because I wasn't able to do it in several different ways, and one day almost felt like I was going to like pass out, but for like a full day or two after doing that, and I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack on stage, and did I explain all this already? I don't know. And then the very next day, genuinely almost collapsing twice during rehearsal, and then when rehearsal ends, get to my seat, I fully do collapse. I stopped feeling like I was gonna have a panic attack on stage when the teacher told me he wanted me in Drama 4 soon. And like that friend knew the 10-minute play was very stressful for me. I don't think they fully understood how stressful it was though. I also did tell one of the actors, like told me minutes before we went on stage me to recharacterize it. I did tell them about it. Like, that play was really stressful for me. Everyone kept telling me to recharacterize things different. You even told me that. You told me to pretend I was my drunken father, and I was like a misogynist for that character. When this character I was playing was probably just a petty child. That's all they were supposed to be. Like, they didn't realize how bad that was, or the fact that like I kept having to recharacterize it constantly, and I never got to understand it. And yeah, my mental state was terrible throughout last semester, especially with that last Christmas play. All those complaints, I did terribly in my classes after that, and I just barely passed some of them too. Yeah, there's that. And I might have said a while ago on this channel, my mother really wants a camera in my room. She said I don't know why she wants to. She just wants to see what I'm doing at all times. That's what she said. I was like, why do you want a camera in here? I don't want that, because she told me it several times. She really wants one in here. Just, these cameras are really hard to get. Or a while ago, she was trying to upgrade the camera she has downstairs and buy new ones, and she got scammed. So she didn't get the cameras, so she had to rebuy them. So only the ones outside are the new cameras. All the ones that are inside are still all the old ones. So yeah, when she said that, I built that camera up there in silent protest, and she was gonna check on me every week like a Gestapo. So I kept building more things every time she was intruding. I haven't made the another one in a while. I was supposed to make another one. I just don't have much cardboard to do that with. But yeah, a few days ago, I came home from school, and that camera up there was completely taken down. Like, my room's a bit of a mess right now. I'm gonna record that on my phone, edit it into this video, but a pile of cans fell over just a few minutes ago. My bad. But I feel like I have to sneeze now. That camera fell all the way down here, and those books were over here. They were all like spread out, like they had been knocked over, and every single one of these cans was completely knocked over. These two mushrooms were knocked over seemingly from the cans that were seemingly knocked over by the camera, except that doesn't make sense. I know that camera is a tiny bit heavy, but I've seen it fall before I put the thumbtacks in and made it actually strong. It doesn't fall that far. It goes to like there. It's never gone around here. And if it knocked over those cans, the cans wouldn't be able to knock over those mushrooms this far away. Like, hell, I tried putting them back up. And like, when they do, they didn't even always hit the mushroom, but one time it did. It's not enough to knock over the mushroom. So, like, it doesn't seem like that happened naturally. I genuinely think she just took it down. It might be because of the things I drew beside it. I drew some political things that I don't think she really stands by at all. You know, Palestine one. I drew Greenland, but its flag is the colors of the UN instead of the colors of Denmark. Pretty much implying that it's like its own nation within the UN now. I think there should be a fully independent one. And then this other one, it's it's traffic signs with the American flag, the Russian flag, and the Israeli flag. You can't really see it from here. And then there's like posters that's taped over it with Venezuela, Ukraine, and Palestine. I'm assuming she probably saw those and didn't like it because she doesn't agree with any of that. She's fine with the Russian Ukraine. Last I asked her, but now she likes that Trump is associated with Putin, so it's possible she changed that opinion. But she doesn't believe that Greenland should be on its own. She thinks it's so unimportant, America might as well take it from Denmark. And she doesn't like Palestine. Granted, she doesn't like Israel either, but she's fine with Palestine dying. Because she doesn't like Jews or Muslims. Or anyone that's not a Catholic, for that matter. I'm talking a lot of shit out loud when I'm already under the assumption that there might be a camera in here. I keep hearing weird things around this general area. And I think if there is some sort of surveillance, it's probably around here. I've just been trying to look for it because if there's surveillance, it's probably a camera so she can see me, not just a microphone. Meaning, it should at least somewhat be visible. I should be able to see it. I haven't found one yet, but I think there is one. I've been hearing, like, weird camera noises. Granted, I've also been hearing voices, and I don't want to talk about that. That freaks me out. Yesterday, it felt like someone tapped me on the shoulder, but there was no one there. I was completely alone in the bathroom because I was like working on a project. And like, you know, that room, I felt like had better airflow. So it's definitely less messy than this room. So mustard. So yeah, lots been going on. I didn't even talk about how overwhelmed I was this morning. Oh wait, no, I did. But yeah, I went downstairs just to have breakfast, and I kept having to deal with my mother. And so after all that was done, I just ran upstairs, locked myself in my room, had a little mini breakdown in that corner. Before realizing I had a bunch of schoolwork to do, and I got even more overwhelmed because I gotta work on all this stuff, and my mind was too hyperactive and I was too overwhelmed to even understand any of this stuff. I'm probably gonna call my friend to help with some of it too. We've been like getting on calls recently, a different friend, to like work on these things. I've done my math stuff. I just need to do this English thing, this writing thing. They've had the writing class before, and we have the same English, so. Yeah. Got a little skunk. It's funny, like, it kind of looks like a badger. looks like a skunk. And this little guy. Anyways. That's all for today and like this past week, I guess. I got a band rehearsal later today, so I have refrained from calling any of my friends for the first time and saying, hey, can I go over there? Because, like, people have offered me in the past, like, letting me, like, stay over there for a bit, like, a little bit, or a day, or, like, a night, if, like, things are really stressful at home. I've never taken them up on that offer. I considered it, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I think I should probably stay here for when I have to eventually go to another band practice with this new band I'm in. I don't know how I feel about this band. The drummer is cool. I met him in this band. My classic guitarist, though, known him for a while. I don't think he made the band for the right reason. I don't think he ever does. I think he just does it to look cool. He doesn't really believe in his band stuff. That's why he always chooses, like, bright, classic pop rock. And why he only knows one Rage Against the Machine song, but references Rage constantly. I love that band. I just wish he knew more than just Killing in the Name. There's so much more from them. I love it. That's not even my favorite song. It's up there, but it's probably top 5 though. Not even like top 3. Can't put this back in. I think he just is in a band to look cool. He doesn't believe anything that any of these rock or metal bands ever believe in. I truly believe that too. That's the only reason he does it. Probably why he's annoyed by our old singer who always kept trying to randomly start singing in the middle of our band stuff, and even the new band they were in that I was a part of, he quit because of her. And everyone's annoyed by her, but he does the same thing. He did that all the time with the old bands and weasels his way into being the singer as well. And I think that's the only reason why he's made himself the singer and guitarist every time he makes a band. He just wants to look cool, you know? He's a chill guy, but yeah, I don't know what we're doing at the rehearsal. We might learn some new songs. That's the only reason we're doing this, because, like, we don't have a performance. We just know we need to know more stuff for, like, future performances. But I think we might be writing something. Not sure yet, though. I should stop recording now.